This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Is it recording or is it like, oh shit, it's recording. What is going on, guys? Jay Shy here with another video, and I figured I'd make this video because I'm trying to help out the community quite a bit. The shmup community, if you guys don't know from the title of this video. I'm pretty sure most of you guys probably clicked on this video due to the what do you call it, the wallpaper thing, or the picture that I have up, and you guys want to know what's this got to do with that. And I'm like, all right, let me get into this. So I know that there's a couple of people that want to get into shmups, but they're not really sure how to go about it, where to start, what to do, what to look out for. And there's been a lot of talk in my shmup community that I'm part of, which is the Electric Underground, which is a podcast with a bunch of like top players who play shmups and stuff, and they were wondering, you know, like, how are we gonna get more people into the community? And I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and make a video. So I'm pretty much making a video on this, and it's kind of like a tips video, or, you know, what to look out for and stuff like that. And I woke up early this morning just to shoot all the footage of gameplay that I did for this video. Oh my god. That I did for this video, and even bloopers like this one. So I'm gonna give you some things step by step of what you could do, how you can go about it. And one of the first things is, I would say, is to pick a game. It could be any game you want. Most people tend to go to the ones that are like has a lot of colors and a lot of things exploding in them and stuff like that. People are into that. One of the things that I'm going to tell you, the first thing I'll tell you, is to pick a game. If something grabs you, go ahead and pick it. It can be anything from Espagaluda, Dodonpachi, whatever tickles your fancy, I guess. Me, I tend to pick games based upon aesthetics. If the game looks cool, I'll play it. A lot of times I'll pick it just because it has a giant laser in it. That's just usually how I think. Or if I see a lot of gold coins falling, I don't know what it is with that, but I'm kind of obsessed with that. Like if I see a lot of gold things falling, I'll play that. But one of the key things that I can tell you when you're getting into shmups is I know a lot of you guys are kind of nervous. A lot of you are kind of nervous about jumping into them because shmups slash BulletHells, whatever you want to call them, Toho shmups, whatever. They tend to be kind of, what's the word? Brutal. They can be brutal, man. They're hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Luckily, some of them have easy modes where you can practice. One of the things I can tell you is if you're trying to get into, you know, shmups or BulletHells or whatever, you can use a bunch of different consoles. What I use is, I use the consoles that I have now. Mostly what I use now is the computer or my PS4. You can download shmups using MAME, and MAME is an emulator for arcade games, and you can download ROMs. I would say do that now since they're kind of getting rid of ROMs, it looks like, because everybody's afraid of like Nintendo at the moment. But I would say get some ROMs if you want to do it that way. Or if you're not into ROMs, you can go ahead and shell out a bunch of money and buy the shmups on Dreamcast. Some people do that, but I wouldn't recommend that. If you're trying to get into them, I would probably download them. Or if you see something you like on the PS4, import it. There's a lot of shmups coming out on PS4. There's a lot of shmups coming out also on the Nintendo Switch, which is like kind of cool. It's not kind of cool. It's pretty cool. The only thing is that I don't have a Switch, and I'm probably, if they come out with an arcade stick, I would probably grab one. Speaking of arcade sticks, you don't need an arcade stick. I know a lot of people would assume that you need an arcade stick to play a shmup. You don't. You can play it on a controller. Me personally, I say start there. Start with the controller. Get really comfortable with it. Not too comfortable, but If you feel comfortable with a controller and not a stick, I would say play on that. But if you do have like the aptitude, I would say, to go through learning something new like an arcade stick, I would say go for it. Me, I only use arcade sticks when I play shmups, only because I have kind of long fingers. My fingers tend to like curl up, and when I'm playing shmups, I hate the fact that sometimes, like, because I want to get a high score, or I want to beat my high score, I want to beat this rival that I'm rivaling with at the moment because of his high score, my thumbs tend to get a little sweaty, and because they slide off of the thumbsticks, it kind of sucks. But with the arcade stick, I can grab it and I can move it wherever I want. That's the only reason why I use an arcade stick. If you're going into the arcade stick, area, there's a couple of places where you can buy some that are pretty cheap. I would check 8arc.com. They have a bunch of Quamba series there. The Quamba, I think Drone is the cheapest one that they have now. Right now I'm using the Obsidian. The Obsidian is pretty pricey. I'm not gonna lie. I got it as a gift, luckily. But you can start there, or you can go with the Hori Rap 4, which is also kind of like a mid-grade, like I would say, price. It's about $160. Then you have which is the Quamba, which is probably my personal favorite, which is the Quamba Crystal. The Quamba Crystal is about 140 bucks. I would tell you, if you are gonna get into the arcade stick thing, go with a quality stick. And if your stick costs somewhere about 100 bucks or higher, that's a quality stick. Sometimes you want to look for good buttons, and a lot of those have pretty good buttons. The Drone, I haven't had much time with it, but there was something before that called the Quamba Q1, which was $80. You can look up that. That is pretty cheap, but it's good, and I like that stick. I still have that stick, it's a pretty good stick. You can go with that, but it's not necessary. You can play on controller, and controller would be fine. Okay, so now let's say that you're ready. You pick the game and you want to get into shmups, right? Now, a lot of times when you're searching on the internet, the first thing you're probably going to see is a super play. Don't pay attention to those. You're not there yet. You can be. If you're a person who is looking for a challenge, and you want a challenge that makes you feel rewarded, Shmups is probably the best place to go if you want something new. Well, not new, but old but refreshing, I would say. Where you want to start is, let's say you pick a game. The first thing you want to do is you don't want to focus on score. The first thing you want to do is you want to focus on finishing the game. So usually what I do is I would play the game and I would credit feed. Credit feed is basically, if you die and you get to continue, press start again. Or in my head, they call it credit feeding. Well, the community calls it credit feeding. It's just like if you just drop more quarters into the arcade system. And you keep playing the game until you beat it. You can do this a couple of times. This will help you familiarize yourself with some of the levels and bullet patterns. You will get better with time if you credit feed a lot and you learn the game. Sometimes, if you want, you can even go with co-op. Play with a friend, sometimes that'll make it even better. Hell, I'll even play with you guys if you want, because I'm always willing to learn something different. But credit feed, that'll be the first thing you want to do. After you credit feed and you feel like you're ready to do something a little more challenging, I would do survival runs. Survival runs is basically where you put yourself on kind of like a cap. Whether it's like, I want to complete the game in like 3 coins or less. So that would mean that you will run through your first continue and your second continue, and once you get to your third continue, you will stop if you die again. So you want to put yourself on like these kind of caps. Eventually, once you do survival runs and you're playing the game for just survival, eventually you will run into what you want to call a 1cc, which is a 1 credit clear. That means you want to beat the whole game with 1 credit. I've only successfully done this twice with 2 games, and I'm not gonna lie, it takes practice, but it's very rewarding. Especially, like, there has been sometimes instances where I will play a game, a shmup, I will get to the final boss, beat the game, and my high score isn't high enough than my previous run where I actually died on the final boss. Like, I didn't even beat the game. So sometimes you'll put yourself through those kind of challenges, and it's really fun. I really like those things. I like challenging myself in these games. That's why I play them. One of the other things that you can do, which what I do, is when I'm trying to learn a level or trying to learn patterns and stuff like that, I will record my gameplay. I like to watch myself play the game because it tells me what I'm doing wrong and what I can change or what I can modify and stuff like that. So I record all my gameplays. Another thing that I know the shmup community does, a lot of the high-level players, what they do is they do save states. They will play a level, realize where they died, and reload a save that they did to restart in that section so they can hammer it through and get through the level. And they'll keep doing this until they feel comfortable playing through the level. I haven't used save states. I probably should. But I don't have a problem with like dying a lot. I'm not in any particular rush to finish the game, but it does help. I'm probably gonna try it now because I recently tried out this really cool game called Crimson Clover. Crimson Clover is probably one of the coolest games I've played just now. I actually started playing it today. I actually decided to buy it just so I could shoot some footage. And it's fantastic. I actually went back and played it again with a different ship, and I was like, whoa, this game is amazing. I'm probably going to practice this, and I'm probably going to use save states on that and recording. So I'm going to record some of my my gameplay so I want to beat that game, and I want to get a pretty high score. That's another thing I probably missed out on is scoring. So a lot of shmup players, what they do is after they're done doing their survival runs and they've gotten real comfortable with the game, they'll play the game for a score. This is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Playing for score is difficult. But it's the most rewarding way to play when you're ready. I do not say start like this. Do not start playing for score the first time if you're just now getting into the genre. Because it's difficult. You have to really know the scoring mechanics to the games. Because every scoring mechanic to the shmup that you're playing is different. There's some like, I don't know if you guys saw, but I did a video on a game called Shikhondo. And Shikhondo is a shmup where you have to basically build a meter by grazing bullets, and when you get to a certain part where there's enough bullets on the screen, you cancel out all those bullets and they turn into coins. Then you have games like Dodonpachi, Daiojo, which a lot of shmup players will start. That game is praised as great. Dodonpachi is it's a combo based, so that means you have to kill enemies in sequence to keep your combo up. There's so many different shmup scoring mechanics. Like, there's another one for another game called Akai Katana. Akai Katana's scoring system is kind of difficult for me to wrap my head around. I'm not even sure what the scoring mechanic is. I was playing it this morning and I was just like, I like Akai Katana. I'm just going to shoot some video footage of me playing it. And I was like, how do you score in this game? I know you blow up stuff, and I know there's other things that you do in terms of moving bullets around and stuff like that, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, the next thing you want to do is this is gonna sound kind of mean, but I'm just being honest. You want to accept the fact that you're going to die, and you're going to die a lot. Dying in shmups is part of the journey. Especially if you're not credit feeding. You have to learn to accept the fact that you're gonna die, and it's gonna be frustrating sometimes. But what I do to, kind of, I guess, help with this is I rival myself. So when I rival myself, I always look at my scores, and I always tend to try to beat that score that I had, and a lot of times I don't, and it's because it's just too hard. And the thing is that I want to play as good as I was playing that day, and sometimes, eventually, with time, you will. Now, one of the things I want to talk about right now is some of the things that are going to happen to you when you're playing shmups. One of the things that you should try to do is to challenge yourself. The first person you should challenge is yourself. Yourself should be your rival. When you die, you log in that score. Take a picture of it. Keep it for life. Well, not for life. Just keep it. And try to beat that score. Eventually, you'll beat it. And then you're going to get higher, and you're going to get higher. And eventually, you're going to get to a score that you can't beat. Once you get to a score you can't beat, you're going to find yourself continuously playing the game you're playing. This is where the Goku picture comes in. Okay, so you're going to enter this weird phase that I noticed that I enter. And apparently, a lot of shmups enter this. And the reason why I use the Goku footage and it's the Ultra Instinct is I think when you play shmups long enough, you enter like an instinct zone. It's the weirdest thing in the world. It's almost like you're just so in the zone to the point where you can peripherally see the bullets coming. You're not really paying attention to anything. You're just kind of moving through the bullets. And this has happened on a couple of occasions to me. And one of the things that I've noticed is when I go through this moment, which is weird, sometimes I notice it and I get out of it instantly and I die. I get hit by a stray bullet, like out of nowhere. Don't be afraid of this. Embrace that zone. That zone will come in handy when you're trying to beat a high score. You want to be patient. You want to be calm. You want to be like water, yo. Like, the zone is awesome. Like, you will beat a lot of scores being in the zone. And it's almost like tunnel vision. One of the things I would tell anyone if you're starting shmups is two things. Don't look at your ship. That's the one thing. Do not focus on your ship. That's what you want to do is you want to train your eyes to focus on the screen itself. When I'm playing shmups, the first time, I would say when I got back into shmups, this was about 2009, I got back into shmups. I paid close attention to my ship. Then I noticed that wasn't working. And then eventually I started paying attention to the bullets. That was sort of working, but not really. And then I remember that day I entered the zone, and I noticed that my eyes, I guess it's kind of like your eyes kind of dilate, and then you're focusing on the whole screen, and you're just kind of seeing the patterns, but you're not looking at them. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And when you do this, you're kind of looking at the whole screen. I can't even explain it. I don't know, but it happens. I'm just letting you know. This moment will happen to you. That's when you know you've gotten good enough to play other games, and you've gotten good enough to try harder shmups like Toho's or really extreme modes of BulletHells and stuff like that. I will tell you guys to practice whenever you have time. When you feel like challenging yourself, do it. Next is eventually come up with a rival. You will find, well, the rival will really find you, to be honest with you. A rival will find you, and with all these leaderboards and stuff like that and scores online that you'll see, hell, maybe I might be a rival or something like that. Like, I got a couple of rivals in my my shmup community that I'm part of. Well, I wouldn't say rivals. Well, they're rivals in terms of friendly rivalry, I would say. They're not like, I hate you, like Vegeta versus Kakarot kind of thing. It's not like that. It's more or less like a friendly competition online. And they don't know that they're my rivals, but I kind of keep it to myself and just play a game online and then kind of post it later. One of the other things is I don't want you guys to be afraid of posting anything. Don't be nervous about it. I know that watching super plays can be daunting, but everybody starts at the bottom. You work your way up the ladder, so don't be afraid. Like some troll is going to troll you because you died. The shmup community, I notice, is nothing like that. They're just nice people, and they're always willing to help you out and give you tips. A lot of the times you'll come across that one person who'll be like, hey, you need to watch this super play because this super play will teach you how to play this. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to start as a super player because you won't. Take the necessary steps to get better at the game, and eventually you will work your way up to becoming a super player. But it's all due with practice and time, and it does take a lot of time. It takes a while if you want to be good, especially if you want to be a person who wants to break records. If you want to be that person, I say go for it. If I see it, I'm probably gonna challenge it. I'll just let you guys know. Anyway, this is the last part of the video because I don't want this video to be too long. I think it's long already. But games you can start with, which is mostly on either MAME or Xbox 360, and like PS4. You can start with that. One of the games that I would suggest is, if you want to do like MAME, I would say Esperade. Esperade is a pretty cool shmup. It's easy enough for you to hone some skills, but it gets hard later on, like all cave shmups. Next is Death Smiles. Death Smiles is really good. Death Smiles is the shmup that actually brought me back into shmups because a guy I met a long time ago who is a very good friend now beat my score. So Death Smiles is pretty easy enough for you guys to try out. I would definitely go. I was playing the PC version, not the PC version. I'm sorry, the main arcade version right here. But I would definitely say go for the Xbox 360 one, or I think it's on Steam. You can try that out. Another game is Delta Zeal. Delta Zeal is pretty fun too. It's basic. It's pretty good. R-Type Leo, which is fantastic. That one's pretty basic if you want to get into shmups too. But Crimson Clover is probably like my favorite right now. I just played that for like a good hour before I actually uploaded this video. Crimson Clover is really good. I would definitely say go purchase that on Steam if you have Steam. Yes, go play Crimson Clover. Now, games you should probably stay away from. These games are games that are hailed as some of the best games in the genre. The problem is that they're really hard for new players. I don't recommend you starting here. Now, you can. I kinda did, and it was not a good look, and then I went and played other games. I started with a game called Dodonpachi Daiojo. I started with the black label. White label is really hard. I wouldn't do white label. I would do black label if you do want to go into Dodonpachi Daiojo, or DOJ for short. DOJ looks really good. It looks fun. It has lasers. It has great explosions. It's just really hard. That game will take you some time. That is a combo-based scoring system. It's pretty difficult. Another game is Ketsui. Ketsui Kizuna Jikoku Tachi. Ketsui is also very difficult. I also like this game. This game is also coming out on the PS4 and at the end of November of this year. So if you guys want to go ahead and wait and grab that version, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a super easy mode for you to practice on if you want to import it. I already pre-ordered my copy. I suggest you guys go and pre-order yours if you want. You can get it at playasia.com or amiami.com. You can try it there. And last but not least, I would not start with this game. Don't. Just save yourself the trouble, is Battle Gorega. Battle Gorega is really difficult. It's really hard. Luckily enough, the PlayStation 4 version, if you import it, does have a super easy mode as well. Now, you can do that. It does make the game more accessible if you guys want to do that. if you guys want to get Battle Garega, which is and that game appeals to you and it looks really fun, you can do that. But if you guys are like really nah man, I'm a diehard, I can probably do very well on the original arcade version. You're in for a rude awakening, because I thought the same. you're in for some hurt, because that game has a ranking system in it. So if you do very, very well in that game, it only gets harder, and it's kind of depressing. So anyway, I think that is all the tips that I have. I guess I have like playing tips, I guess. So when you're playing your shmup, I would say don't move around in S motions. And what I mean by this is, like, don't hold the stick back and forth and moving like this. I noticed that a lot of people getting into shmups tend to do this. They move around and they try to dodge everything too much. What I've been noticing is sometimes bullets, what they'll do is they will home in on your last position that you're in. So if you stay in one spot, they tend to zone in on there, and then you can kind of like tap dodge your way through things. Sometimes that does not work, and you have to do like what is not it's kind of like tap dodging, but it has like a swivel, but there's a pause, and it's kind of like this motion, that S motion that I was talking about, but it's more like and then moving like this. I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm trying to gravitate towards, but it's that motion. Another thing is, the more you play a shmup, you will tone down your anxiety. I noticed that when I was first starting out in shmups, again, I had a very high anxiety because I didn't want to die. Eventually, all the deaths that you go through will bring down that anxiety, and you will play a lot more calm. And this is where that instinct zone kicks in, and all you guys will end up with the white eyes and the melatonin face, that melancholy face of just, I'm in the zone. You will definitely get this with practice. So anyway, I think that's all that I have to say about this. So go ahead, guys, go out there, try a shmup. I hope this video was informative for you guys. I was just trying to put it out there for you guys. Also, another thing, I've been thinking recently that I don't want to flood my channel with shmups if you guys aren't interested. So I also was thinking about making a new channel just dedicated to that, like scoring based games, really, not just shmups, but scoring based games. Now, if you guys are cool with me putting this stuff on here, let me know down in the comments below. If you would much rather me do videos like this and me talking and showing you collection videos and just keeping it like that, let me know, because I'm not sure, but I figure I'd ask you guys anyway. So anyway, guys, I hope this was informative once again, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.